Hey, this is Coach Anderson from Mississippi Public Broadcasting Online U.S. History from 1877 to present. Today we're going to pick up with Unit 6 again, World War I, and we're going to look at lesson number 6, which is Wilson's 14 points. And in looking at Wilson's 14 points, what it was, of course, was a plan for peace. Now you have to understand something about President Woodrow Wilson. Wilson was an academic, which means that, you give him a problem and then he tries to find the best ways, of course, to solve that particular problem. That's the kind of the world that he came from, one about trying to gain knowledge and trying to gain answers. And when it comes to World War I, the answer that he was trying to find, or the answer to the question that he was trying to find is, how do we prevent something like this from ever happening again? Because you have to look at it from this particular standpoint. World War I was the most devastation that anyone had ever seen when it comes to, of course, the military engagement. Now, that'll only be surpassed, of course, by World War II, of course, that comes on about less than 20 or so years later, or a little bit more than 20 years, years or so later. So when you look at Wilson, he has this idea, and the idea, comes to fruition in something called the 14 points. And what we wanted to do is give you a little bit of a deeper look in terms of what the 14 points were in terms of going through and looking at each one of those individual points and kind of give you an idea of how each one of them, of course, could address the idea of preventing another war, of course, from happening. What we want you to do, of course, is navigate to the video in the video description that says Wilson's 14 points. And now, once you've done that, what we want you to do, of course, is to, view the video, answer the questions, of course, that are aligned to the video. And once you've done that, go ahead, convert your answers, of course, from the activities into a PDF file and turn them into your teacher, of course, to be graded. Good luck and enjoy the film. And we'll come back and talk to you in a little while. Thank you. We hope you got some idea about what the 14 points, the goal of them, was. And if you did the work and if you paid attention to that particular medium, of course, MPBS Learning Media, one of the things that you should have found is that had the, the big four, nations could come to some agreement when it came to the Treaty of Versailles, and if the United States of America got involved in the plan for peace, and if Wilson's 14 points possibly could have been implemented, we probably could have avoided another devastating war that we had, of course, starting in 1939, of course, with the invasion of Poland by the Germans. But because Wilson's 14 points, of course, were more or less pushed to the side and the United States of America didn't get behind it, we're going to find that that's one of the biggest reasons why that Wilson's plan for peace and the plan for peace that was created with the Treaty of Versailles, didn't have the desired effect, which was to prevent another war like this from happening. The one good thing about it, though, is I guess if there's a silver lining in this, when World War II ends, everybody looks at that plan in terms of what Wilson had come up with and said, maybe we should start thinking like Wilson did and try to come up with something that preemptively stop wars and conflicts like this from happening. And you're going to find that some of those same elements that Wilson outlines in the 14 points will make their way into the peace agreement, of course, that will end World War II. This is Coach Anderson from Mississippi Public Broadcasting Online U.S. History, and just as I tell you from all the time, make sure that you don't take my word for it. Go through and do your own research so you can draw your own conclusions. And with that, we'll see you next time.